Um,
Hey,
so yeah,
Sean.
it's just for our references that if you want to, look at any requirements, we can probably listen to the discussion and then come back with more questions.
Sean,
Um,
a small thing, but I can get you the logo that we use. There's actually four logos, one for our
okay,
state, one for the Dolphins. Then we have two other entities. So I'll send you it. It's a four logo kind of lockup. I'll send it to you just so you have it. I think it'd be better to use that. Um,
absolutely.
Smallest
And
detail, but yeah.
perfect. And then Rajesh and Kiran, do you have any file format that you want it in, or any file format should work?
Okay, I'll send you a few maybe, and you can decide what you need there.
Sure.
Yep.
Usually SVG is what we can work with because that has, capability to make it larger. I mean, it has the flexibility. But yeah, Kiran and
Okay.
Rajesh, that's your
Yep.
forte.
Yep.
So Kiran, SVG icon for the logo, that should work, correct? Or
Yeah, it
PNG
will
or
work, sir. Yeah, it
okay,
will work. Yeah.
perfect. Okay, great. And any other points on the system requirements document, Kiran and Rajesh, that you wanted clarification on?
I think not much, son. So I think we need to keep updated as soon as if there is any change.
Sure.
Any updates to it. Yeah.
Okay, great. Then we can move on to the report requirements. So, Jeremy, yeah, we were looking at the report that you sent, and it looks pretty straightforward, but we had a few questions. So, weighted LTV and weighted average, like, what is LTV that you calculate?
Yep. So
And then,
LTV just stands for living the values. So this evaluation is measured against our four values. So it's just our own internal abbreviation. So living the value. So that's just a it's just the name of the metric. So weighted LTV is the weighted score for an individual. So it's based on that formula we talked about, I think, on a few calls ago. Um,
mhm,
so weighted average is going to be for a user, it's going to be the supervisor, I think was 40%. Not in front of me, it's 40%. For the supervisor, 40% of the total would be weighted for the coworker, and then
mhm.
20% is weighted for the direct report. So in the case where they have three or more direct reports, that's the formula. And if there's no direct reports, it's just 50-50 weighting. So when I want to know what my weighted LTV score is, it's going to be those formulas. If I have no direct reports under me, it'll be 50-50. If I do, it'll be 40-40-20. So
Okay.
that's how you calculate that. And then the that's the weighted average. The weighted LTV norm,
Mhm.
so that's the weighted average on the report. The weighted LTV norm is the weighted score of everyone, everybody, including the user themselves. So everyone's weighted average combined. So that way I can say, okay, well, if my weighted average is X and the
Mhm.
weighted LTV norm is Y, how do I measure, how do I stack up against the rest of my peers? Does that make sense? So again,
Yep.
weighted average is just the you that one person on that report's weighted average score. The weighted LTV norm is the score of everyone that's part of that whole session.
Okay.
So if 20 people
Um,
20 people are part of it, it'll be the average
okay.
of all 20.
So if 20 people, that means it considers the evaluators as well, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, anyone that's being evaluated, right? An evaluator may not be
Okay.
you may do a report for someone, but you may not be part of the evaluation on your own. Does that make sense? You may be asked to participate in
Mhm.
reviewing somebody, evaluating somebody, but you yourself may not be being evaluated. So the
Okay.
20 is whoever is being evaluated.
And so if that's the case, so when we create one session, usually it's one subject, right? So that means that it's a combination of multiple sessions, correct?
Well, actually, in our world, I believe, and sorry if we misspoke on this one, a session should be,
Hmm.
if like, for instance, if I'm doing a session right now here in March of 26, the year
Hmm.
2026. It is a evaluation of a number of people.
Okay.
So when we name the session, I may name it March 2026, and I may want to
Hmm.
evaluate the entire finance team, and that may be 22 people. And so there'll be
Okay.
22 names that'll be being evaluated, and that weighted LTV norm should be the weighted average of all 22.
So the session should have all those 22, right? So
Yes. So when
the
we add a session, I
okay.
should be able to add as many users, evaluators, or evaluees. I don't know how you say that. People being
Subjects.
evaluated to
Subjects, yeah.
subjects. There you go.
Yeah.
To the session. Exactly right. So yeah, we don't want 22 sessions. We want one session that includes 22 people within it. So it'll be a
Okay.
list of those folks. Yeah.
And it could be that one subject could be evaluated for the other one, correct?
Correct. Exactly right.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, team. So Kiran, that probably changes some of the requirements, but yeah. So there are multiple subjects, and within one session, it could be one or more, and then accordingly, we'll also add evaluators to each of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
I don't know if we mentioned this too, but it would be nice on the dashboard to see, and I can mock this up if you want, if it helps. I can mock it. I will mock it up and I'll send it to you guys to see what, but
Sure.
like it would have the 22 names. It would have, how many people were assigned to evaluate them. So for me, I may have 12 people that are going to evaluate me. And then the next column
Mhm.
should be how many are completed, right? So like 6 people have completed it. So it's 50%. My
Okay.
evaluation is 50% complete. That includes
Okay.
myself. Yeah. Um,
Sure.
yep. Something like that. Yeah, that'd be kind of good to have just so we can see how we're doing against progress and completion there.
Yeah, I think they have that on one of the
Sure.
screens.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tracking, yeah, tracking will be there. And then I think this probably requirement is a new one. So we'll probably have to modify the screens accordingly, but and the workflow. So what we were thinking is it was just one subject and multiple evaluators. So now what we'll do is the change is we'll add multiple subjects and then each subject can have multiple evaluators. So that way, yeah, we can have the weighted LTV calculated as well. So yeah, makes sense.
Okay.
Okay, Kiran and Rajesh, any
And
questions on the new requirement?
no, Shan, I think we are designed accordingly. So what he is
Okay,
saying that is there already. Yeah, we have planned
perfect,
accordingly. Yeah.
perfect. Yeah. Okay,
then you
and
also had a
then
question for N.
sorry.
You have a question in there in that same number one. Valid N is the number of users, which is
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, we can change
Correct.
that. It's confusing. I agree. I don't know who came up with that, but we can call it whatever you want to call it. But that's right. It's the number of people, users, or that have evaluated somebody. So next to direct reports, if the number's 5, then that means there's 5 direct reports that completed it, and the score is reflective of the 5. Does that make sense? So
Okay.
as people complete it, that number should populate and go up.
Yeah, it's a very common thing in a survey results thing where like sometimes
Uh,
on questions people won't fill out every question. So
uh,
you'll want to know how many people that, this encompassed, right?
Okay,
So that's probably where that came from.
okay.
In our case, everybody's going to fill out every question, but I could see why he put it on there.
makes sense. Okay, great. Then moving on to the next one, reports template. So the one that you send, do we want to use the same one? Do we want to upgrade that if possible? I did hear that we want to upgrade it.
We
But
do,
if
but we
we
don't have
do,
a
then
design necessarily. So if you guys
sure,
want to take a shot at a design, by all means,
sure,
but
Yeah,
we want to focus on the functionality first and getting that
sure,
all
makes sense.
built and all that. And then if we have time to upgrade it, let's do that. Let's make it nicer, easier to digest.
Sure.
But that's a nice to have.
Okay, yep, makes sense. And that brings us to our next question. Like, do you want to add any charts or visualizations in the report?
I mean, that's the world I live in, so yes, I would love that.
Sure.
So I can even try to mock some stuff up, if I can. But yeah, again, nice to have. So,
Okay, perfect.
There's
Yeah,
probably
and
a
anyhow,
nicer.
we're going to work on the report. Sorry, Jeremy, go ahead.
I was going to say there's probably a nicer, cleaner way to visualize the four values because as it stands now, you have to kind of scroll down for each of
right.
the four values. So maybe there's a table or something at the bottom, or maybe it's at the top that's kind of a little bit more colorful that shows the four values and it presents those four boxes a little differently. There's also a lot of redundancy within in terms of the definite like the under each value, it shows the scale and it shows the weighting. We probably only need that once on the report, so we can minimize a lot of noise that way. But yeah, I think there's probably a way to just have like a single top, at the very top, maybe just kind of trying to picture what it would even look like because there's quite a few different cross sections of data here. It may just be like a table, honestly, of the four values and then the supervisor all the way down to weighted LTV and then just the numbers. And then below that, you can repeat this where you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what percentages of people rated you by these numbers. But maybe at a very high level, there's something that just quickly summarizes the four values and then what your supervisor gave you for the four values, team members, the report, that whole thing.
Okay. I am trying to bring up the report so that we can.
Yeah, I'm not trying to find it myself.
I have it up. You want me to see if I can, would it be easier for me to share?
Sure.
See how I can do this. Let me know. This works. See that?
Yep.
Okay. So the very top, it's got the person's name top right, and then kind of small there is the overall average. Um, Again, just the Dolphins logo there. I'll give you the four logos. We can change that. Yeah. But yeah, I think if you see this, it's got innovation, teamwork, and we scroll down, integrity, and then results. And the definitions that are below it, I think are important to keep there. But below this box here, for integrity is, it's repetitive where it has the scale and the weighting. I think we can just have that one time, whether it's at the top or the bottom. And then, but I was just thinking at the very top, maybe there's just a table that's just got the four values and then, what the weights are for each of those categories. And then we can show the level of detail for the percentages. But you guys have probably done this way more than I have, so maybe you have some better ideas on how to present it. But this report isn't awful. I just think it could use a refresh. It's been the same report for 10 plus years. So
Yeah. And I think for just general laypersons, the people that maybe don't consume like data, like this is like it's very like cold and scientific, and so like maybe an easier way for just general users to take in what their scores are and how they compare to others. So
Sure. Yep. So yeah, we're going to target the report design probably by next week. So once we have our system requirements ready, that's when we'll start targeting that. But yeah, I think we have covered major topics for today. Any other topics that you wanted to add, Kiran and Rajesh, for today?
No, Sean. So, I mean, we're waiting for the access. As soon as
yeah,
we get
we'll
access,
work on that this morning, and
Sure.
I'll send you the logos. The extension on the logos is PNG. I don't know if that helps or hurts, but I'll send it to you, and you guys can let me know if you need it in a different format.
I think PNG should work, but yeah, I mean it usually is not flexible when if you want to show it as a full screen logo or uh,
I think we could probably get Creative to provide an SVG version,
great
because
at
they
that time.
probably have the original like
Yep.
Illustrator, so they could probably make it
Yeah.
into a CSV or SVG for us.
SVG.
Okay.
But yeah, if it's not there, we can also, I think, Kiran, can we change it to SVG as well?
yes, Sean. Yeah.
Let me
From
know.
PM.
I'll let you guys play with it. If it doesn't work, just let me know. Simple as
Perfect.
that.
Yeah.
Get it for you.
Yep, just send us. Yeah, we'll try and yeah, if needed, we'll probably send you an email or bring it up in our
I'll
Slack.
ask them anyway because they're just down the hallway, and if they have it, they have it.
Okay. Yep. Perfect. Okay, perfect. Then yeah, I think we have everything good to go. And then Ray and Jeremy, did you want to add anything for today's call?
And like I said, we'll push on IT to get that access. Jeremy, I think Jaime is just trying to get approval from Jordan.
Okay.
So
I'll walk over there right now. I just
okay,
just because I'm so close to that, just go see what's going on.
okay.
Perfect.
Cool.
Thank you so much. I think, yeah, then we are on course. Yeah, we just are expecting the account so that we can start testing and then we can start the development work on that. But apart from that, we have already started development work on the system, on the application. We should be able to give you some preview either on Friday, and if not on Friday, then definitely by next week, Wednesday.
Okay, sounds great.
Good.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Thanks, Ray. Thanks, Jeremy.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Kiran and Rajesh. Yeah.
Thank
Have a good
you.
day.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you,
Yeah.
Jeremy.
Thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye.